Recognizing the member for Kelowna Peachland, Kelowna Lake, West Kelowna Peachland. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Just going to ask a few questions here regarding my riding West Kelowna Peachland and specifically in the community of West Kelowna. The Ministry of Housing purchased the property at 2570 Bartley Road for $3.7 million in October 2023. What are the Ministry's plans for this property, and when can the community expect to see development or services initiated on site?
Recognizing the Minister.
Thank you, Chair. Can the member share, does the member have the address by any chance? Just could say their address one more time.
Recognizing the member for West Kelowna Peachland.
Thank you, Chair. 2570 Bartley Road in West Kelowna.
Recognizing the Minister.
Thank you so much, Chair. So thanks for the member for the question. 2515 is also owned by BC Housing. That's where the temporary shelter is. This site has been purchased by BC Housing. BC Housing's in conversations with the city, kind of in concept design planning at this stage, to identify what can be possibly done on that site.
Recognizing the member for West Kelowna Peachland.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, so I appreciate the answer there, and with that facility being in the planning stage and whatnot, I know the city has some concerns with wraparound services associated with the housing. So I have a question relating to that. Given the increasing demand for mental health services in West Kelowna, what steps is the ministry taking to enhance access to mental health and addiction support in the region?
Recognizing the minister.
Thank you, Chair. We're going into a bit of the health conversation, but I can maybe speak just generally, just to say that just on the other side of the water with Kelowna, we've got 90 units of temporary supportive housing units that have opened, an additional, I believe, around 40 that are coming online in the last 8 months. And they come with in-reach supports from the health authority. So there are wraparound supports that are provided to individuals, and we are seeing some success. In fact, I just got a note from the city that in the first 9 months of those units, they've had 56% of the people that have moved in have already found themselves into either employment or into market rent or connected with family. So the supports seem to be working, and but of course. It would depend on what goes on that site, and we're not there yet, but this is just what's happened in other sites.
Recognizing the member for West Kelowna Peachland.
Thank you, Chair. The proposed Westside Resource Hygiene Center at 2545 Churchill Road has faced delays and community concerns. What is the ministry's position on this project, and how does it plan to address the community's feedback?
Recognizing the minister.
Thank you, Chair. Just hoping the member can clarify because my understanding of the address he's given us, it was a temporary shelter and we're now using Barclay for that. Is there something like very current or very recent that the member's raising concerns about?
Recognizing the member for West Kelowna Peachland.
Thank you, Chair. No, that's the separate facility, the separate location. So just to confirm, from your perspective, from the ministry's perspective, this program is no longer happening as per your ministry? Is that a done project now?
Recognizing the Minister of Housing and Municipal Affairs.
Yes, my understanding is that that site that the member referred to is no longer operating. It was temporary winter shelter, and so it's, you know, they're usually temporary in nature. But if there's a new development, I certainly will have my team follow up and maybe in writing with you.
Recognizing the member for West Kelowna Peachland.
Thank you, Chair. And my next question then would be, West Kelowna has been assigned a target of 2,266 new homes over the next 5 years. What support is the ministry providing to the city to meet these targets, particularly concerning infrastructure and land acquisition?
Recognizing the minister.
Still looking, you didn't notice me, Chair. I thank the member for the question. I can share with the member that we provided West Kelowna $10.2 million for infrastructure, part of the Growing Community Fund. My understanding is that it's just being held in reserve, that they may not have allocated those dollars yet for infrastructure. And as far as land acquisition, I'm not entirely sure what land that the city might be contemplating, or perhaps the member can share with me if there's a specific parcel of land that he's referring to.
Recognizing the member for West Kelowna Peachland.
Thank you, Chair. Nothing specific, just seeing if there was any assistance from this government with the West Kelowna meeting this target. So you said that there's funds that was allocated for the city of West Kelowna. Was that for infrastructure development then?
Recognizing the minister.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Yes, it was $10.2 million, part of our Growing Community Fund last year, and we require local governments to provide us updates when they've allocated those dollars, and my understanding is that those are held in reserve for infrastructure, water, sewer, etc. And I'm not entirely sure how they're going to allocate that, but certainly hope that they use those dollars for infrastructure that is needed. We continue to, of course, there's also the Rose Valley drinking water project. We provided $41.2 million for that. And as far as housing goes, you know, a lot of those units are obviously housing that's in the pipeline for approval. I know that there was a kind of a high-profile project proposal that was in front of West Kelowna just recently, and they faced some opposition and decided to decline it. But I'm sure they're considering other housing opportunities, and we continue to look for ways to partner for more housing. We will have a community housing fund intake, which will be happening soon. And so if the member has a not-for-profit partner in the community that is interested in directly having affordable housing, they should prepare for that intake because it will be coming soon.
Recognizing the member for West Kelowna Peachland.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate that. And now, just want to go back to the target of 2,266 new homes. The money that was indicated is being held by the City of West Kelowna that hasn't been used to the best of the Minister's knowledge. I'm just wondering if that money was set aside before the target was applied to the City of West Kelowna, because there's quite a lot of rumblings and concerns in my community about this specific target. As the Minister is probably aware, the City of West Kelowna is very rapidly developing, but the infrastructure is quite behind. So my concern is, was this targeted 2,266 new homes, was that put on the city after the money was set aside, the $10 million set aside? And if the City of West Kelowna were to indicate that the money that might be held, as the Minister's saying currently, is inadequate to allow for this growth, is the Minister willing to commit to providing more assistance to the City of West Kelowna to actually meet these targeted housing numbers if that is the case, if the money set aside isn't adequate to develop the infrastructure to get these houses built?
Recognizing the Minister.
Thank you, Chair. The $10.2 million was roughly around the same time, within a few months. And again, it's held in reserve. I can't comment on where or when they're going to allocate those dollars. That's probably a better question for the Mayor and Council. Certainly, $10.2 million will certainly help with infrastructure. I'm not aware if they've applied for the Community Housing Infrastructure Fund, which is a federal fund, and if they haven't, this would be a good opportunity to do so. And the target for West Kelowna for this upcoming year is 289 homes. And I know that I believe it's achievable for West Kelowna. They had a proposal just recently for 120 townhouses. I know that council rejected it. I know that was a tough council meeting, I suspect. But they do have other proposals that are coming forward, and it's going to require some tough decisions on where they want housing. And as was discussed earlier, we are excited that the federal election is over, because we need to have a conversation with our federal counterparts on what an infrastructure program can look like for local governments going forward. But it was important for us to ensure that whoever wins federally, that our programs aligned. We in BC are unique in that for over 20 years we've had a good history with our government as well as previous government on aligning our infrastructure programs with the federal government so that we can maximize our dollars and ensure that people are not applying twice. So that is something that we'll be undertaking in the coming months once we know who the Minister of Infrastructure federally will be.
Recognizing the member for West Kelowna Peachland.
Thank you, Chair. Now, given the ongoing challenges in addressing homelessness and mental health issues as a result in West Kelowna, how does the ministry plan to maintain open communication with local officials and residents moving forward?
Recognizing the minister.
Thank you, Chair. We are in conversations with the mayor and the team around the need for supports for vulnerable individuals. It's always important to have that open line of communication. It's also important to come to an agreement on where and how we want to support people. So, you know, if the member has feedback, I'm open to hear it, but we are just in the early days of trying to figure out what type of housing is needed. The positive news is we've acquired land. But the next step is, you know, the concept and the design and identifying what can possibly go there, and that will require some engagement with, certainly engagement with the local government and the public as well.
Recognizing the member for West Kelowna Peachland.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Minister. Those are all my questions.